So, right, 4.8 pre-adjusted trial balance. The trial balance, let's have a look at the pre-adjusted trial balance first. As you can see, we are listing out all of the accounts that we have done recording so far, and the balance here, as you can see, are the final balances of each of these accounts. Right, so for example, we have the final balance of buying on credit for this much. We have the final balance of buildings for this much. So all of these accounts or the pre-adjusted trial balance is showing the final balance of each of these accounts. And because the total, when we are recording the general journal or the general journal, you can see that the total of debit will always be equal to the total of the credit. And therefore, when we reach the final balance of every single account that we have recorded in the general journal, you will see that the total of debit will also be equal to the total of the credit. The purpose of this pre-adjusted trial balance is to see if when you are recording the general journal or general ledger, if you make any mistake in the recording. If you make any mistake in the general journal or the general ledger, these ones wouldn't be equal. But there are some cases when you do make a mistake, these two would still be equal, but I'll talk about that later. So far, just know that pre-adjusted trial balance lists out the final balance of all of the accounts that we've recorded so far. All right. Now, the next question is, how do we figure out what the final balance is and whether it's on debit or credit? And that it requires a process called footing. So I've already introduced to you the buying ledger account, and the bracket in A, it says assets, okay? But you don't need to write this. Now, as you can see, if you remember, debit side of a ledger account means money is going into that account, and the numbers on the credit side means the money is going out of that account. So in this case, you can see that we're having this much going into cash at bank, and only this much is going out of cash at bank, and they summarize of the total of the debit and credit here. So if you have this much coming in, this much coming out, then after evening it out, you can see that you have this much of the balance in the bank account. So it's easy to figure out the difference between the two. The question is, how do you know whether to put it here or to put it here, right? So the step is actually or has already been recorded up here. The step to foot an account: add up the debit side, add up the credit side. Right? So add up the debit side, add up the credit side, and next take the smaller amount from the larger amount, and the result is the pre-adjustment balance, which is the balance for the pre-adjusted trial balance. So what it means by take the smaller amount from the larger amount, it basically means take the larger amount minus the smaller amount. And then simply write the difference on the side with the higher value. Write the difference on the side with higher value. So between this side and this side is higher. Therefore, write the difference here. Now, this is on computer, on the website. So and this is not how you present it in on papers. So in on papers, you do it like this. So very similar to this, okay? I'll show you. Bank ledger account, and you have all of these, debit entries, all of these credit entries, and you end up with 10,150 on debit and 690 on credit. Right? And then you found out that the difference is this much, what you do is you, on the cross-reference column, write the difference on the on the side with the higher value. And because on paper you cannot have color marker to highlight this one, therefore instead of highlighting it, you just circle it. That's what it means by should be written in the cross-reference column and circled. So on papers, you write the difference in the cross-reference column and circle it. To tell me when I mark your papers, I know that this is the final balance for the pre-adjusted trial balance. Right? So once you have all of these ledger accounts being footed accordingly, so again, you do the same steps. Total of the debit, total of the credit, take the higher one minus the lower one, and write the difference on the highest, on the side with the higher value, and then circle it. Make sure that the number is in the cross-reference column. Okay, and then you bring all of this. For example, as you can see, for example, bank on the debit side 9,460. Then on the pre-adjusted trial balance, you write bank debit side 9,460. Okay, apparently this pre-adjusted trial balance, this example here are different ones, but you get the idea, right? Or inventory here, 10,050 on debit. Then down here you should also write inventory 10,050 on debit. That's it. And if you do everything correctly, and you list out and you do the calculation, calculating the difference correctly, and write it on the right side. If it's buying debit this much, then buying in the pre-adjusted trial balance should be that much. If you do everything correctly, then the total of the debit and the total of the credit is gonna be equal. Okay, and then this much. And then this paragraph is also very important, but I'll save it for your teachers when they're going to discuss with you in this one. So pay attention to it when your teachers are teaching. Okay, that's pretty much it.